Hello, Carrots Club. We're here for another workout. So what we're going to work on today is a little bit different than what we typically would do. Typically we're working with dumbbells, bodyweight exercises, and we do a lot of time interval-based stuff, or trying to do AMRAPs where you're trying to get as much work done in a certain amount of time. Today what we're going to work on is just purely isometrics, which just means static holds, okay? Now the beauty about this work is these are the types of exercises where you can almost do them every day. And what I mean by that, and the reason why you can do them every day, is the fact that when you guys are working on static positions or working on isometrics, you don't have what's called an eccentric component to the lift, okay? So you have three basically main focuses of a movement, right? So let's use a squat, for example. So when I'm going down, this is my eccentric, okay? And if I pause just for a split second, there's an isometric, and as I come up, that's the concentric motion, okay? Now, the eccentric motion, the lowering down, whether you're lowering yourself from a pull-up, you're lowering down from a push-up, or lowering yourself from a squat, that's where a lot of people get a lot of muscle soreness. That's where those little fibers tear, okay? But then they come back and they grow back stronger, okay? This is where you get a lot of that muscle soreness. So, the nice thing about isometrics is you're holding a static position. Some soreness can come from it, but I have found that these are really good workouts to throw kind of in the mix throughout your day, because they're very short and sweet, and at the same time, not a whole lot of warm-up is required. Obviously, if we have some shoulder issues, maybe some knee issues, you might want to take a little bit more precaution with that. In fact, we have some older video series from some dynamic warm-up series on our YouTube page, so check that out, go through that. They're about 10 minutes, and then you'll be rocking and rolling ready for the isometric series here, okay? So what we're gonna work on is four main movements, if you will. So just pretend you have no equipment, it's just you. So you basically can do a push-up, a squat or a lunge, okay? And then some type of abdominal exercise, think basic plank, okay? But here are some of my favorite ones to do. Push-up, lunge, and then doing some type of core exercise, whether it be a side plank or something, and then going back to the other leg on the lunge. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through four basic movements here, and then we're gonna progress them into making them more challenging. Now, with intensity, as you go up in intensity, what I mean by intensity is not so much in time, but the movement is harder to do, harder to hold. Sometimes you have to work with a little bit less time to hold, or just with a little bit less exercises. So there's a beauty of that where you get more efficiency, okay? And you'll see what I mean here in just a moment, all right? So first exercise, we're gonna go to a right leg lunge hold. I'm just gonna do 10 seconds of everything, and then I'll give you some of the parameters as far as like how to progress your time. I'm gonna go 10 seconds on the right leg, push-up hold for 10 seconds, okay? Lunge on the other leg for 10 seconds, and then I'm just gonna do a basic plank from that elbow position for another 10 seconds, okay? So basically it's gonna be an up, down, up, okay? Kind of routine. So first one, we're gonna go to a lunge, and I'm gonna go from the side so you can really see what the legs are doing, okay? So you're gonna get down, our clock's gonna start, we're gonna be at 10 seconds here. Now here, you can work on leaning forward a bit more if you get a little pain in the knee. So if you kind of notice my back's at an angle, I'm putting more emphasis in the hips. You can always work on a more vertical posture. Find what works best for you, okay? So there's 10 seconds. I'm gonna go down to a push-up position now, okay? 10 seconds, and what you're trying to hold is pretty much just below halfway. So right here is about halfway. I'm gonna go down a little bit lower. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna set my foot to the other side. Here we go, 10-second lunge. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're gonna go back into our front plank from the elbows, 10-second hold. So we're back down here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? So that's one circuit. Now, 10 seconds is gonna be pretty easy for most people, especially on the lunge and the planks. The push-up one, that's probably where it's gonna get most people. So, I recommend going from the feet in a full plank, or from the knees in a modified push-up position, right here, where you're coming down, and we're holding just the exact same. Okay? But regardless of whether you're going from the feet or the knees, the principle is the same. Knees, hips, shoulders, all in a straight line. Okay? Now, the goal here is to increase time. So, I recommend starting with 3 sets. So you go, I would try 20 seconds of everything on the first round. See how you respond. Now, the goal here is to not get through this as fast as you can. Just kind of go your own pace, okay? So if you're going into the lunge and then you're going to the push-up and then you get into that lunge and your legs are not fully recovered, depending on how long you held the set, go ahead and come back, shake it off, give yourself a few seconds. Good general rule, probably about 30 seconds or so between each movement, okay? Especially when you're going from the lunge, that'll give you guys a little bit more time to switch back and forth for each leg, okay? So we did a right leg lunge, we did a push-up hold, left leg lunge, front plank. So now you can do the same routine, but you can go right leg lunge, push-up hold, left leg lunge, side plank on one side, side plank on the other. Now, most of you guys know what a side plank is, but let's just reiterate that technique, okay? So what you guys are gonna do, make sure you're on the forearm, and from a standing version, I want you guys to look at this. My feet are together, I'm in alignment, I'm not arched, I'm not tucked under, I'm neutral, okay? And I'm gonna put that elbow right at my side. And I want you guys to think about going like this and trying to recreate this image right here, okay? So we're trying to go and be in this great T formation. I find that just emphasizing on the shoulders really kind of helps align everything up. So getting into your side plank, you go to here, you come up, you lock everything in. Now, if this is a challenging piece, even if it's challenging for 10 seconds or 20 seconds, you can modify by just bringing this foot up here and giving you a little bit more push with this right leg. Now, once you can do that, you obviously want to get to the feet stacked, okay? Now, you can go with that, and the nice thing about going from one limb to the other is you can constantly really keep moving, okay? But again, the push-up one's probably gonna be the hardest one for most people, okay? So again, start with right around 20 to 30 seconds on each side with each movement. Give yourself about the same amount of time for rest, and then work through that for 3 sets. Now, here's how you can progress this, all right? Instead of going to a side plank, you work the L sit, okay? Now, again, if you have nothing, you're in a park. Actually, if you're in a park, you probably find a park bench. If you're at home, you're gonna have a chair, okay? So let's go over that L sit first, all right? You have the same exercises. So we would do, and I'll just go through these series one more time. Here's a progressed version of what we just did, okay? I'm gonna go to my lunge. We're gonna hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You go ahead and drop to the floor, go ahead and get into a push-up position here. Now, if you wanna challenge yourself a little bit more on the push-up, you can work different hand positions, okay? And that's just gonna change it up. You can do it every set. One set you go in a little bit closer, one set you go a bit wider, here, change it up, okay? So you can play with that. Now, I will go to the other leg, so hitting the other side on the lunge, and then from here, once you finish that leg, we'll go to an L sit. Now, here's the trick here. When you're progressing some of these exercises, the L sit is gonna tax very similar muscle groups as you would with your push-up hold. So you may need to take a little bit more rest in between these movements, all right? Because this is a more intense exercise. So you're gonna incorporate the triceps a little bit, the shoulder stability, the abs, the legs, the hip flexors, they're all gonna be there, okay? So I'm gonna show you a front view and then a side view, all right? So get your butt on the edge of your seat, you have your hands set on the arms of the chair, you're gonna lock out. Key thing here is the legs, okay? So really focus on the legs, because the stronger you can make your legs in this position, it'll only make it better. So you're gonna be here, you're gonna lift your feet up, squeeze your feet together, and hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, okay? Again, that's one of those movements where you may need to start with 10 seconds. And so let's say you're going through your set and you're doing 30 seconds of everything. You may need to break that up into 3 separate 10-second holds. So do 10 seconds, come down and rest. Do another 10 seconds, come down and rest, okay? From the side, okay? Looks like so. I'm set, and I want you guys to pay attention to what my hips do. My hips are gonna shift back towards the back of the chair, okay? Because once you get your feet off, we usually see when I'm starting people in this drill, everyone's hips go forward, and as soon as their feet come off, their butt goes back. The reason being is because your center of gravity is going that way, and your body's gonna find stability, and it's finding the best leverage for you, despite how strong you are, okay? So what you're gonna do is already get those hips back, get nice and popped and locked in those arms of the chair, and then up and hold, okay? I'm just looking straight ahead, I'm squeezing in tight, focusing on my legs, I'm gonna hold for 10 seconds, okay? And then we're gonna come down and rest, okay? So now, what I want you to, so from there, you guys can progress it even further by either holding for a longer time or go for straighter legs. And I will say that is a dynamic difference on how hard that is, okay? And if you can notice, as soon as I straighten my legs, most people's legs drop, okay? So let me show you. So you're here, I'm out, I straighten, and my feet drop, okay? That's totally natural, okay? Let that happen and just keep fighting for that posture. But I will say this, until you're able to hold this posture for a minute, I'll even scale it down a little bit to 30 seconds, don't even bother going with the straight legs, because all of this has to get stronger along with your shoulders and your arms in order for that position to get better, okay? So you had a right leg lunge, push up hold, left leg lunge, L-sit hold, and then you go back to the right leg lunge, okay? So in its entirety, we look like this. Hold for 10 seconds, we drop to the floor, we hold, okay, we come up. Sorry, it would be whatever your times are, 20, 30 seconds, wherever you're starting. Hold here, okay? And then obviously giving yourself a little bit of rest in between, coming up and holding there, okay? The L-sit, despite looking like it's gonna tax the arms a lot, tremendous core exercise. And I tell people, if you can get good at that exercise with the number of a few others, okay? Really think gymnastics here. How strong male and female gymnasts are and how strong they are to hold those leverages in those positions. They're some of the most explosive athletes we have, okay? Think about if you can get better at that, a lot of those other ab exercises, I wouldn't say are useless, but can basically be thrown out because you're able to execute something that is incredibly difficult, okay? So give that a run. As far as your progressions, going up to when do I change it up or how do I make it harder, I would say start with 3 sets again, go 20 to 30 seconds on each movement, 20 to 30 seconds rest between each exercise, and just keep rolling through that. And then time after time, week after week, month after month, maybe add a set, maybe add 2 sets. I wouldn't do any more than 5 sets. 3 seems to be the magic number. I would go for more time though. So what I would try to go is get to a minute on each one. And I'll tell you what, just doing a minute hold on the lunge, minute hold on the push-up, minute hold on the lunge, that in itself is a lot of work. And then of course you add some of those other stuffs in there, especially the side plank or even that L-sit or even the front plank, okay? You're gonna have a great isometric static workout, okay? They're short on time, they don't bang your body up, they're all about stability, they're good at reinforcing good connections with the body and the muscle and the mind connection and putting yourself in the right spot at the right time, okay? Give that a run, let me know how it goes, and have a great day, stay strong, stay fit. Thank you.